Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let me try to get into the second half of this video. Don't know how long it will go, but let me try to get into the second half of this video with you. To tee off what I was on last time, it's pretty much the fact being anybody can lie and deceive themselves day in and day out, left and right, that what they're doing, how they're acting, how they're portraying things is God's plan. Anybody can do that. Anybody under their own strength can lie about God's plan, can lie about who God is, can lie to themselves that they're fulfilling God's plan. Oh, because I know this and I know that. You know, anybody under their own strength can lie to themselves and sell themselves under the delusion that they're fulfilling God's plan. I'm telling you, you need to start going. And this is something I can assure you from my last few years of my life, if not my entire life. Pay attention to the detail of what you're doing and what you're saying, and whether it's truly living up to sound doctrine when it comes to watching what you say and why you said what you said, versus just I can say it because I have the adulteral right. And I mean adulteral right as like, oh, I'm legal, I'm an adult, I'm a grown person, I'm a grown, and etc. That's what I mean by adulteral right. That was probably the wrong word to use there, but you get the point, And I'm just saying that you have to learn how to analyze these things, because I'm telling you, when you learn to analyze these things are truly gonna separate, true and real, true and real discernment, true and real actions and productivity, true and real, I want to say schemes and plot lines, true and real, just a lot of things. It's going to separate true doing versus true just running your mouth, I guess you could definitely say. Because I'm just saying, again, I'm telling you, I really do believe a lot of Christians, they are under the perception that what they're doing is God's plan. But I can rest assure you that the evidence proves day in and day out that they are not, and you just have to pay attention. Excuse me. Have to pay attention to what the evidence says. Because here's the thing. I'm not a person that's just gonna, this is just my opinion, I'm not a person that's just gonna pretend that, the world that we live in is gonna get just all better through just me voting. I voted, and I got a sticker right here to say that I voted. But I can rest assure you that if you really want the change you want, you better go out there and be an activist for the change that you want. You better do more than just voting. You better try to go out there and try to, like, literally, be hands-on with the people who are making these laws. Show them some undeniable evidence and etc. Reason why this should go this way, that should go that way. Obviously, you don't have the final word and say so on some of this stuff, but again, do what you can to where you're not just voting and pretending as if everything's gonna go right. You're gonna not only vote, but you're gonna be an activist for the change that you want to make. And that's the top thing that I really think everybody needs to learn how to do in 2018 and further on. Be an activist for the change that you want. Don't just go out there, vote and pretend that everything's gonna be all dandy. Because if everything was gonna be all dandy, you wouldn't have all the problems that we have day in and day out all across the board on so many scales, on so many levels, and so forth. But big, like I was saying in the last video, the biggest and best way to discern God's plan from the devil's matrix is it's not just gonna make sense to you. It's not gonna just make sense to you. Or at least with certain things, it's not gonna just make sense to you. Once you break it down, it's gonna make sense to you, and it's helping other people, and it's gonna make sense to other people that you're helping. Like, for example, with me and my donating and etc. This is donating is probably one of the most 2+2 things you can decipher from. Think about it. I'm giving this resource, or I'm giving this tool and etc. to somebody else to help them with God first, whatever it is that they are going through or need it for, and etc. Fix and so forth and so forth. It's so 2+2. It's so simple. That's one of the top two things I can assure you, that when it comes to this deciphering between, is 2+2. And it's just the fact of being, you have to learn how to, like, for example, because if you were to ask me, I'm a very Jesus-oriented person. I'm a very, I'm a Jesus freak. I put God and Jesus within practically everything that I do on a daily basis. I'm trying to make sure that I represent myself and, God first, and myself in the best light that I can every single day. And that's what and that's the top thing. You have to learn these things. I think a lot of Christians have been absolutely, blindsided, by lies that society fed them on how to raise families and etc. When it comes to me this, my that, they bought into so many, disciplinary lies and etc., to where they really don't know sound doctrine anymore, or they don't know common sense anymore. It's probably both of those, because I can rest assure you that, again, the ways that I've seen, certain things go about, I'm like, that right there was a common sense move. But as I said before, some people are so drunk on, oh no, just do as I say, that it's like you're ignoring common sense to feed your ego under, no, just do as I say. A good leader has to be willing to take opinions from other people into consideration on what makes best sense with common sense and strategy and logic and planning and etc. And I'm just saying that one of the top things I feel like a lot of parts of our society, have done, they've taken that power, or they've taken the structure of that one verse of obey thy parents through all things. They've taken that one verse and they've turned it way left. They've turned it way left. They've used that as their excuse to literally give their kids, I want to say bad commandments here and there, or bad orders here and there. They've and more, like they've negatively abused scriptures like that, and it's one of the top reasons why you have the society that you have today. Other than the fact that people, for some, again, strange and odd reason, don't want to practice when it comes to waiting till marriage to have sex. I mean, God, honestly, one of the top things within society today we really need to start doing is practicing how to wait till. I mean, why does it seem like so many can't wait? Why does it seem like so many can't wait? And here's the thing: under your own strength, that's what it seems like. Under your own strength, you feel like you can't wait. But when you truly, and I've said this before, when you truly channel the ways of the Father, you meditate on the ways of the Father, you can wait. And that's one of the top things what I mean about so many people, being truly saved in the world when it comes to not only the love of the Father in them, but them trying to represent their faith first in the best way they can. So many are failing at that on a daily basis, and it's evident. Some are so negatively stuck in their ways, and that's the problem. Why are so many people negatively stuck in their ways? And one top reason is why, because so many don't want to change. So many have fooled and lied to themselves. Fooled themselves / lied to themselves, bought into the lie and the delusion that they're right for being wrong, even when the common sense aspect of the entire equation proves you're wrong for being wrong, or you're wrong. You're simply wrong, and you just, don't want to see that because it goes against I want to say your doctrine of what you fed yourself. And I'm sorry if some of y'all still don't understand what I'm saying here, but the fine line point, or the big major key point, is that, again, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to common sense, pay attention to logic and fair reasoning. Pay attention to the signs and the signals. God will send you signs and signals towards you accomplishing His plan for your life. He will do that. And I'm not saying it will always make sense to everybody else around you, but again, there is that fine line that you have to walk there towards. You need, this is sound for you. This is sound for you, sound for the Lord. And here's the details of it. And that's the top thing that I can rest assure you, at least from my discernment of God's plan for my life. I can definitely decipher with those things, honestly. I can go into detail with what I feel like God has put on my heart, to fulfill God's plan for my life. I can go into detail. So many other people, they can't, or they are scared to go into detail, and they just want to live under that. Oh, I'm doing everything right just because, just because. And I'm just saying, in order to help heal this culture, we have to get more open-minded people, more Jesus Christ salvation open-minded people. People who are going to listen to common sense, logic, and reason. What's going to help more people rather than just a small fraction of people. The bigger picture, the spiritual bigger picture of everything. again, the evidence is not hard. Evidence is literally right there in front of your face. It just depends on how you're going to dissect it and how you're going to perceive it and how you're going to put it into your own life to own God's plan for your life, so forth and so forth. So I'm just saying that, I'm watching this, for Faith and Victory Church in Alabama, I believe so, or in Washington. It's one of those two that the churches in, and Faith and Victory Church, FV Church. You can look it up on Twitter and on YouTube. And one of their sermons for this Sunday is titled "Drake and God's Plan." Now, God bless the pastor who's giving the sermon, but the problem with him giving the sermon is that I'm willing to bet he's never even listened to an entire full Drake album. He said, in Drake's godless lyrics, like, fam, I know that the devil knows how to masquerade as an angel of light, but have you ever listened to Drake's lyrics? Have you ever watched any of his videos? Specifically, have you watched, and I've watched some of his videos, if not all of them. Specifically, have you watched the God's Plan music video? Have you not? And that's the top thing now. While listening to the pastor dissect, God's Plan and Drake and what he thinks he knows about Drake, I'm like, fam, how much about Drake do you truly know? How have you listened to the song? Have you listened to the song, to his Scorpion album? Have you watched the music video for God's Plan? What full research have you done on Drake to be able to decipher what he was deciphering? And anybody who's again that doesn't know what I'm talking about, go under Faith and Victory Church on YouTube and go on their Twitter account, and one of their sermons is titled "Drake and God's Plan," and you'll see what I mean about with the pastor who's preaching, and God bless him. He's great at what he does, and etc. But it's just the fact being that, fam, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the first and last Drake song you listen to? He's like, and his godless lyrics. Like, have you listened to Drake's lyrics? Now, I'm not saying I agree with everything that Drake says in his lyrics, because of course I do not. Especially when, especially in the song titled God's Plan, where he's saying, might go down a G-O-D, or might go down as G-O-D. Of course, I don't agree with those lyrics whatsoever. I think that's still very much him in whatever, systematic form that he's in for whatever, God knows reason. Like, that right there is not sound doctrine. Those parts are just, him feeding his ego. When he says might go down as G-O-D or might go down as G-O-D, those parts are definitely just him feeding his own ego. When it comes to so forth, I guess you would say, like, you can go on Genius and it says being immortalized, when it comes to, immortalization for him, honestly. So, I mean, I don't agree with those lyrics, but I can rest assure you that the evidence literally is there, God honestly. And that's just, my opinion and what I think and what I believe from watching the video, listening to the song numerous of times, and following Drake's career, since 2000 and I've been following his career since 2012. I've been following Drake's career since 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what I can tell you. From following his career back in 2012, that's what I can tell you. I'm just saying, everybody, study this discernment, study these passages, study, common sense, study logic and reason, study fairness, study balance, study all these things. And I'm telling you, because God bless all these pastors and these priests and etc. But even some of them, I swear I could literally, debunk half of what they're preaching about. I'm literally not even, I'm telling you, I can literally do it. Debunk half of what they're preaching about. Because, I mean, anybody under their own strength can tell you that they know sound doctrine. Anybody can. But like the Bible says, you will know them by the fruits of which they bear. So forth and so forth. So once again, take care, everybody. I'll probably shoot a more in-depth, if not, if this wasn't an in-depth enough video on everything that I mean and want to say further on. God bless. Take care. Your boy, the man, NJ, number 2, the city out with the number 2 in TL. Peace. Take care. More music coming soon.